the top, in the bottom corner of your screen. I'm going to start my video that you may see me and later turn it off. Some ground rules: you only unmute your microphone when you are asked to speak, because we need to regulate the noise. So you only put on your microphone or unmute if you are asked to submit or to give an answer. I hope that is clear. Okay. I don't know whether you people can actually see me. Is there anybody? Jazira, Florence, please unmute your microphones. Jacob, please mute your microphones. We are going to start. Jazira, we are waiting for you to mute your microphone. Jacob, please mute your microphone. Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Teacher Jonah. I am glad to be the one to take you through this specific lesson. And I believe you'll have an easy time learning with us. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Allow me to share a screen and we get started. Just to check, Jeremy, can you see? Jeremy, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So you're welcome. It started on yesterday and it's going to run for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We shall see. And before we start, I want to introduce you to Yaaka DN. This is a platform that helps you to learn and you get ahead of your academics. We have great teachers, we have content, good content that you can use even without teachers and you'll be able to understand. We have great assignments and quizzes and that you can use to assess yourself with or without the teachers. We have access to revision material and so many things. So that package comes in an annual basis and it is priced at 500,000 shillings per year. You can imagine a full year at 500,000 shillings and you have lessons like this every time you want them and you have access to all the content that you need in that class, videos, talk of PowerPoint slides, talk of anything that you need to get ahead of your class, provided here by Yaaka.cc. So you can simply get to your website and type or click there, look for www.yaaka.cc. It will help you to get to us. As I told you, my name is, this is Primary 6. My name is Jonah Byarugaba. I am a teacher of English language and I've been doing so for quite long. This may be my 10th year or so. Last time, this is not the first lesson we've had in P6. When we met last week, we discussed about if sentences. or call them conditional sentences. We said conditional sentences are sentences which are used to express conditions necessary for something to happen. And we discovered that there are 3 types of if sentences, whereby we talked about if 1, if 2, and if 3. But extensively, we discussed about if 1. About if 1, we said all if sentences have got 2 parts. They have what we call a subordinate clause, or you can call it, if you don't want to call it subordinate, you can call it minor, a minor or an if clause. So there are 3 names given to the same clause: subordinate, minor, or if. And then we have another clause called the main clause. So as you see them here, we have the if clause and the main clause. Those 2 combined make up an if sentence. What a sentence contains determines whether it is if 1 or 2 or if 3. So we noted, this is just a recap of what we discussed last time. So that's why I'm going very fast. We noted that it doesn't matter where you place the if clause. You can as well begin with the main clause, like in that case where you said if passes PLE. In the second case, we have started our sentence with the main clause and we have concluded with the if clause. But it is noteworthy that when we begin with the main clause, we ought not to put a comma. When we begin with the if clause, we separate the if clause from the main clause using a comma. So that's what we talked about if 1, and then we went ahead and said that the if 1 goes with the present tense in the if clause and the future simple tense in the main clause. We still said there are chances of verb happening, and we even gave examples. I am having a recap. I'm just doing a recap of what we did last time so that we can be on the same page. Before that, we also discussed what we call the 0 condition or the 0 condition. We said there are 3 conditionals, but there is what we call 0 condition, and this one expresses the general truth. We even gave examples like if you heat water, it boils. If you increase the volume, it becomes high. If the radio stops working, take it to the mechanic. We said in such conditions, we use the present simple tense both in the main clause and in the if clause. We went to if 2, and we said if 2 goes with the past simple tense or the past continuous tense in the if clause, and the future, what we may also call the conditional present tense, in the main clause. We said we use if 2 when the action of the verb is impossible. That is, there is no chance of the action happening. There we talked about 2 cases. If I were a lion, I would eat humans. If I were God, I would make people live forever. So we later said that we use were to emphasize the impossibility of the action to happen, whereas was is used when the action is impossible at the moment, but can be possible with time. So we gave examples and we said it is okay for someone to say, if my brother were a lion, he would eat every person. And it is not okay for someone to say, if my brother was a lion, he would eat every person, because was is for something that for something that is impossible at the moment, but it can be possible in the future. Whereas were is used to show that something is impossible now and can never be possible, even after time. So that's how we zeroed these 2, were and was. We even gave 2 other examples. So today, I want us to begin with changing the following sentences to if 2. Now, having learned that if 2 is made up of the present, rather the past simple or the past continuous in the if clause and the conditional present tense in the main clause. So we are going to change the following sentences to if 2. But before we change those sentences to if 2, I want to give a chance to anyone who has a question about what we have reviewed from the previous lesson up to now, if you have a question that we may help you to understand that before we go any further, before we introduce something new, it will help you to catch up. I now welcome you. If you have any question, you simply raise the hand in chat and I'll call you by name so that you can unmute your microphone and you ask your question. Thank you so much. Anyone with a question regarding if1 and if2 before we proceed? Okay, if there are no questions, that's beautiful. That means you have understood, or you understood everything as we discussed it then. So this is just to help us remember. We are going to, to change the following sentences to if2. And here, the answers are supposed to come in the chat. So start writing. The sentence is there. If I get money, I'll buy a radio. Change that sentence to if2. I want the answers in the chat. I'm going to take the first 5 people and we shall move to the second question. First 5. If you made that kind of a question and the instructions are change it to if2, how do you go about it? Yes. I am waiting for answers in the chat. I cannot see any. Are people typing? Where are the answers? Let me just put a word in the chat so that we can know where the chat. Put your answers here. Yes. One answer has already come. That from Edmond, and everyone can see it. If I had money, I would have bought a radio. Edmond, think about your answer. Good try over there. But 1, punctuation. 2, the verb in the if clause is get, not have. So think about that. We are waiting for other answers. Someone with Galaxy. Someone with Galaxy, what are you doing to us? We are waiting for more answers. This is Hillary. Hillary, great answer. Great answer. Thank you so much. This is Jazira. Good answer. Very good answer. This is Hazel. Very good answer. Very good answer. I am remaining with one person and I close that question. One person remaining and we close. The person using Galaxy SS8. How are you? And what's your name? Your name, you are on mute, unmute.
If I get money, I will buy a radio. If I got money, I would have bought a radio.
And you speak. From forget to God, fix that. Lean, good answer. Just that the word I, pronoun I has not been punctuated very well. Cheryl, good answer. Very good answers. Very good
I cannot
answers.
start
So
because there's this for it.
it is very important that you remember that the if clause should be expressed in the past tense and the main clause should be expressed in the conditional present tense. The conditional tense is represented by the word would. The conditional tense is represented by the word would. And then making it present is having a verb in the present tense. So the answer should be would buy. Very good answer. I am very happy for those who have given the correct answer, and those who have not given the correct answer, still you have a chance to try out this question, this other. If I get enough money, I'll start up a farm. Put in if two. Put it in if two. Put it in if two. Put it in if two. If two. We want only Davis. If I got money, I would have bought something is lacking. I want the number two. I'm waiting for 3 answers, and it will be shall be good to go. 3 answers. 3 answers from you, and then we shall leave that. Three answers, and then we shall leave that. 3 answers. The first 3 answers. The question is there. If I get the money, if I get enough money, I will start up a farm. We want it in if two. In if two. Then we shall leave that. We want it in if two. If two. Raising hands. Lynn, thank you so much. Great answer. Great answer. But the word if, check your word if. Check your word if. Let me see these ones putting up their hands. The person with Galaxy S8, what's your name again?
Seth. Nimusima Seth.
Seth.
Yes.
Seth, we want you to write the answer in the chat. The same applies to you, Stuart. Just write your answer in the chat. That's when we shall be able to read it. Just write it in the chat. Seth, write your answer in the chat. We already have 5 answers. Hope Mukisa, if I got money, I would start. Great answer. Gabriela Hazel, great answer. Just improve on your punctuation. Cheryl, great answer. Stuart, great answer. Great answer. Seth, good answer. I am very happy. Edmond, great answer. So we get to leave that. I am putting the final question here. Final question for you. There you go. There you go.
If I got
There you go. Final question. We are waiting for the first 5 people in the chat. Great answer, Jazira. Thank you so much. Great answer. Thank you.
Please repeat the question.
Just improve on your punctuation. Don't forget the full stops. Don't forget to capitalize the first letter of the first word in the sentence. Put a comma where it is necessary. Such few things will help you improve. Yes, we want to wind up on this. I am waiting for a few answers from you, and then we shall introduce if3.
No, they've not introduced.
One answer is already here, others, hurry up. This is, please repeat the question. This is Seth. Seth, the question is, change the following, this sentence to if2. The sentence is, James will become rich if he cares and feeds his animals. If he cares and feeds his animals. James will become rich if he cares and feeds his animals. That's the question, and I'm waiting for the answers in the chat. If I get 3-4 answers, we shall move to something else. Remember, the key issue is that the if clause is expressed in the past simple tense or the past continuous tense, and the main clause is expressed in the conditional present tense. When I say conditional, the conditional tense is represented by the word would, and present means you add there the verb in its present tense. Some answers are already here. Thank you, Seth. Seth, you forgot one of the verbs in the if clause, but your answer is okay. Lynn, you need to revisit your answer. The main clause is okay, but the if clause is lacking something. The same applies to you, Cheryl. Your main clause is okay. The if clause is okay now after changing. This is Stuart. I don't know where you have got the word would have been rich. We have not looked at it. So revisit that and check, and change it. Avoid changing. Thank you, Seth. That's what I wanted. Congratulations. Good answer. James, Edmond, your second verb is lacking something very small, but you are almost there. This is Hope. Hope, good answer, Hope. Good answer. Thank you. This is Jeremy. Good answer. Good answer. So that marks the end of that question. So I am giving you more about, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are other 8 questions you will attempt in your free time. I'm going to put this in the WhatsApp group so you can access it and you attempt these questions. Feel free to send your answers to me. I'll check them and I'll give you the feedback. Yes, so I want to leave this. If there is anyone with a question, raise your hand, ask the question before we go to something else. Anyone with a hand? Anyone with a question? I can see Seth. Seth, do you have a question?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, please ask.
I didn't start from the beginning, teacher. Could you please explain
I'm really
to me?
sorry about that, but Seth, don't mind. At the end of this lesson or this engagement, I am going to share with you the slides from where we started till the end, so you can revisit them, and they are really well organized. You will be able to read and understand. Is that okay? Seth, is that okay?
Yes, teacher, it's okay.
Okay. Yes, so we get to introduce if3. Someone has a concern. Yes, Davis, good answer, but you have put very many full stops there. You need to eliminate them. We get to if3. If3, what do we know about if3? These are the facts that you need to know about if3.
Pardon?
Seth, mute your microphone. Thank you. So we get to start about if3. These are the key things you have to remember about if3. And when you remember all these things very well, you'll never be disturbed by if3. If3 is used in the past perfect tense in the if clause. The if clause is expressed in the past perfect tense. So you have to remember, get your knowledge of primary for where I talk about tenses. How do we write sentences in the past perfect? Remember, past perfect, there must be helping verb had, and then the verb in the past participle. So you have things like had gone, had come, had run, had eaten, had drunk with you. And then the main clause is expressed in the conditional perfect tense, which we call future perfect, in the conditional perfect tense. So the if3 condition expresses unfulfilled conditions or regrets. If there is something that you wanted to do in the past and you never did it, if you never did something like that, then you are perhaps supposed to regret. So those regrets are expressed in if3. The chances for the action to happen were there, but now are over. So it is
Hello, teacher, I'm not hearing you.
it's impossible for you to, had I known, if I had known, I would not have done A, B, C, D. So that is if3. If I had known, so you can see there is if I had known, the if clause has the past perfect tense, and the main clause is I would have treated her well. I would have treated her well is the conditional perfect tense. So let's have some examples. If I had revised hard, I would have passed the exam. If I had revised hard, I would have passed the exam. So the key thing you have to remember is that the if clause is expressed in the past perfect tense. Had revised is past perfect, and the main clause is expressed in the conditional present or the conditional perfect tense, which is would have passed. If I had listened to his parents, he wouldn't have landed. If he had listened to his parents, he wouldn't have landed into problems. So if you ask yourself, did this person listen to the parents? The answer is no. Did this person land into problems? The answer is yes. If this person had listened to his parents, would he have landed into problems? The answer is no. So if he had listened to his parents, he wouldn't have landed into problems. That is if3. If I had got money, I would have bought a radio. If I had got money, I would have bought a radio. Lynn, turn off the video. Lynn, turn off the video. Thank you. So I had got is past and perfect, and would have bought is conditional perfect tense. If I would have bought a radio if I had got the money. This is the same, only that in number 4 we have started with the main clause, whereas in number 3 we started with the if clause. Note, for the purposes of emphasis, we sometimes use the inversion where we begin with the auxiliary verb had to replace the word if. Now, before we get to the inversion, let me see whether there is anyone with a question. I don't want to leave anyone behind. If you have a question about if3, you ask before we get into the inversions. You simply raise the hand and you ask the question. I am waiting for questions. Yes, Edmond?
Excuse me, teacher. If you are to
Yes,
use if you are to use if3, would you have replaced would with will?
I beg your pardon, Edmond, your network disturbed a little bit.
Like if you are using if3, would you have replaced would with will?
Okay, that is a tough question, but thank you for that question and that concern. Would we have replaced would with will? Will is, I don't want to address it in the way of replacing this when we are in this, if replace this with this. I want you to understand from the context of tenses. In primary 4, you talk about tenses. In if one, we use will because it is future simple tense. I will buy, I will dance, I will do this. That is the future simple tense. Whereas in if 3, we use the conditional perfect tense, which states, I told you earlier that the conditional tense is represented by the word would, and then perfect, have, and then you put there the verb, maybe would have eaten, would have, like that. So literally, would replaces will, but you add other things there. I don't know that you have understood, Edmond. I don't know that you have understood.
Yes, I've understood.
Yes. Anyone with a question? Any other person with a question about if 3?
No.
No question. Okay. Leila, Mary, Savity, you're welcome. Please connect your audio. Okay, Hope. Yes, Hope.
How can you know that the answer needs and that you must answer negatively?
I beg your pardon.
How do you know that the answer needs an? How do you know that the question needs a negative answer, like how you showed us on example number 2?
Okay. Usually, when we are offering the pieces of advice, we speak positively. Please do this, or else this will happen. But when something that you wanted to do in the past did not happen, or it, then it will show you, like, if he had listened to his parents, he wouldn't have landed into problems. That means he landed in the problems, but you are suggesting otherwise, that if something in the past had happened, if a certain condition was fulfilled in the past, this wouldn't have happened. And number 2, it is not like all the time we must use the negatives. It depends on the situation. And they will never set a question where they ask you, construct a sentence in if 3. It will never be there. They simply give you a question and they ask you, rewrite this following sentence using had. Maybe we can get to some of these questions and I show you something, some of these sentences. Like, do you see question number 1? If I get money, I'll buy a radio. They will not tell you that change this sentence to if 3. The examiners will ask you to begin or rewrite the sentence using had got. You get that? Had got. So for you in the head, you have to remember that had got is past perfect. That is if 3. And if 3 is past perfect and would have in the main clause. So that is the case. I don't know that it makes sense, Hope. Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. So you just need to know how every if behaves. How is the if clause of if 1 and how is the if clause of if 2, how is the if clause of if 3, and the same applies to the main clause. If you get to know that, your life will be so easy. Any other question before we move? Hey. Any other question? Okay, Hilary says he has no question. Okay. Okay, so we get to get back to what we are discussing. So There is what we call an inversion. You have to pay attention to this. An inversion is when we begin with the helping verb. Let's take an example of number 1. If I had revised hard, I would have passed the exam. So here they ask you, rewrite the sentence beginning hard. Who can try that? Write the sentence beginning hard. Just raise the hand and you speak. You are going to speak from here. You're not going to type. Raise your hand and yes, Gabriela.
Had I revised hard, I would have passed the exam.
Very good. Had I revised hard, I would have passed the exam. That's what we call an inversion. That is equivalent to saying if I had revised hard, I would have passed the exams. Someone to try number 2. Someone else who is not Gabriela, because Gabriela has given us number 1. Begin the sentence using had. Begin the sentence using had. Okay. Some good, many hands. Yes, Stuart. Stuart, we're waiting for you.
Excuse me, teacher, my video has been disabled.
Yes, it is okay. You can just speak. Tell us the answer. We can hear you very well.
Had I listened had he listened to his parents, he wouldn't have landed into trouble.
Very good. Thank you so much. That is a very good answer. And Jovian, do you agree with that answer? Jovian?
Yes.
Very good. So let me see who has not spoken. Who has not spoken?
Had
Lynn
he
has spoken.
listened to his parents, had he listened to his parents, he wouldn't have landed into problems.
Thank you, Davis. Jazira, number 3. Begin hard.
Had I got money, I would have bought a radio.
Very good, thank you. That is a good answer. So let's get to these answers, to these other examples. If you wash the utensils, you will attend the show. Let's get to our chat. Let's get to our chat and we type the answers very fast. First response, begin, just change it to if 3 and begin with if, don't begin with had. Hirali, get to if 3, get to your chat and type the answer very fast. When I get 3 answers, I'll stop getting answers and I will put question number 2.
If you had.
I am waiting for answers in the chat. No answer yet. Seth, type your answers there. Seth, I want you to begin with if, not had. I want you to begin with if, not had. Give it another try. We have 15 minutes remaining to end this lesson, so we have to be If you had washed the utensils, you would have. Very good answer. Hey, Gabriela, proud of you. Very good answer, Jovian. Thank you. This is very good answer, Jeremy. Very good answer. Jazira, you need to check your answer, especially the main clause. Very good answer, Hope. Thank you so much. Very good answer, Lillian. Thank you so much. Jacob, great answer. Seth, great answer. Lynn, great answer. Edmond, great answer. Now, but the spelling of the word is show Edmond. Now, rewrite the same sentence, beginning had. If 3, beginning had. Same question, beginning had. One answer is already here, two answers going. Still, Stuart, check your main clause. You cannot say if had you. Stuart, read again your question. Remember, the if clause is expressed in the past perfect tense, whereas the main clause is expressed in the conditional perfect tense. Conditional, that means would, then have represents the perfect, and then if you washed
We are not hearing you, man.
that's a good answer. This is from Jacob. Jacob, had you washed the utensils, you'd have attended. Great answer, Jacob. Great answer, Lynn. Great answer, Davis. Thank you, Seth. Great answers. So as others are getting there, here is what you have given me. If you had washed the utensil, you would have attended the show. We have said the equal inversion would be, had you washed the utensils, you would have attended the show. Answer 1 and answer 2 are all the same. One is the inversion of the other. They all mean the same, and they are all in if 3. The other sentences are here. Their concert will not be interesting if they don't practice well. Their concert will not be interesting if they don't practice well. That's another question. We don't have enough time to also go about it, but here are the proposed answers. Before I Nanyonga, Florence, would you give us the answer for that question of their concert? What is the answer? Florence, Nanyonga, if 3. You seem not to have spoken ever since we started. Nanyonga Florence. Collins, you have also not spoken. Unmute to speak for that question. Change it to if 3. There are people who already want to give us the answer. Jazira is one of them. Yes, Jazira, give us the answer.
If they had practiced well, their concert would have been interesting.
I beg your pardon. Yes, I love this question. Very good question. Stuart.
If they practiced.
Yes. Jazira, have you failed? Yes. Yes, Gabriela.
Their concerts wouldn't be interesting if hadn't practiced well.
I am sorry for calling you your mother's name, Aaron. I am sorry, but that's what I was reading here. But I promise to call you Aaron. And when you're joining, you ask mom to rename your device to your name. That's when it will be easy for us. So thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. This is Jeremy. Their concert would not have not been, no, would not, no. Okay, let's get there. Let's get there. I don't want first.
If they practice well, their concert would be interesting.
Thank you. Let me just look at this question. He would not have been arrested. So the moment we have not, it must come immediately after would. Don't bring it after have. So if you have a question like that, you are supposed to say their concert would not have been interesting if they had not practiced well. It is the same as saying their concert would not have been interesting hadn't they practiced well. Hadn't they practiced well, their concert would not have been interesting. Okay. We are coming to an end. Edmond, what you did is to change it from being a negative sentence to being a positive sentence because you didn't know how to go about the negative structures. But that would help to know that if you have a negative, it should come immediately after the word and before you introduce have. Okay, so those are the answers we have, and we have even that one. If they don't get money, enough money, they will not make the birthday bash. That is if 1, and they are asking us to put it in if 3, so we can say if they hadn't got enough money, they wouldn't have made a birthday bash, which is the same as saying hadn't they got money, they wouldn't have made a birthday bash. So thank you so much. We have come to an end of this today. I don't know whether there is someone with a question. I have prepared about 20 other questions for your revision. I am going to share this document after this engagement that you can go on and revise on your own. Feel free to take on those exercises and send your answers to me. either to me or directly to the WhatsApp group. I'll be glad to have all of them. Yes.
Okay.
Anyone with a question before we conclude? Before we close?
No.
I have 5 minutes.
No.
Just that I wanted to remind you.
No questions.
Yes, no questions.
Those 10 questions, you will change them to if 3. So these are some of the things that I needed you to know about Yaaka, the online classes. This includes teacher-student interaction by holding class engagements on Zoom like this one, access to all the subjects on the website, mark your work, we grade your work, we give you quizzes. That one is at 500,000 shillings per year. That means if you pay now, it will run up to next year, 2022 in June. So that is one of the benefits. And we shall be having such engagements, we shall be having such interactions, we shall be giving you a lot of work and even marking. Then if you don't want to go that way, you can download a single subject at 10,000. We give you all the notes of primary 6 English at 10,000. Use them the way you want. Without videos.
Teacher.
Then if you want to download all the subjects in the primary, is at 30,000. So those are some of the packages that we have. We also have this side of EduCare where you can pay per month 20,000 and you access all the content in P6 for a full month, 50,000 for 4 months, 70,000 for 6 months, and 100,000 for 1 full year with access, unlimited access to our content. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves. We are going to end this meeting.